So, when last we left off, you all had began climbing the perilous mountain, the source of the corruption plaguing the Savannah Island, assisting the recovery squad on their assault. Elementals of all sorts had rained down the mountain to defend it. And when Eridarin had spotted one of the weaknesses that Drada had talked about in the preparation leading up to this, both Drada and Captain Foundry headed to a corrupted waterfall to destroy what was within. As a result of destroying that, you all did see that the water droplet elementals on the mountains did dissipate and scatter. With that information, Captain Niana, and with Tirok's reinforcement, Aesop's father, had instructed you all to join Tirok in a charge up the mountain while they, the remaining captains, looked for weaknesses on the mountain to exploit. And so you did. That's where we left off. So, with that said, go ahead and roll initiative.
Oh, we lost you there.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead and roll initiative. With that said, this is a new combat. You've done all sorts of healing on the way up here. You've spent all of your things. The large, menacing eye that is sort of tethered to the peak of the mountain through a sort of fleshy optic nerve of sorts as it hovers up, looks down and recognizes you, or looks down to recognize that the ground assault has reached it. Additionally, I'm going to say Flint and Mouse cannot do this because they have been spamming bonus actions the whole way up. But if Drada, Clax, and Aesop could all roll me a perception check to listen in on how the combat has been going on your way up this mountain.
Not bad.
Okay. Drada, you are the only person to really pick up these details as you are following Tirok up the mountain. This was basically like a full minute slog. You guys ended up, in order to avoid the elementals, Tirok led you through the backside of the mountain because the eye's attention was turned towards all of the captains. Because of that, it took a little bit longer to get to the top than it would have if you had just full sprinted up normally. But in that time, you heard a number of things go down. You heard shouts from Niana and Eridarin as they found other weaknesses to exploit, and sort of summarizing, ultimately, groups had been dispatched to destroy those. As you're leaning up towards the top of the mountain, you have an understanding that those should be destroyed, both a pillar of fire and a pillar of earth. In addition to the pillar of water you've already destroyed. However, a few other things you pick up with a 21, that Captain Niana, one of her squad mates, had to be picked up from the airship because they had fallen in battle. And eventually Captain Niana's whole team had to jump onto the airship lest they meet the same fate. Additionally, at some point during the battle, which I did do the whole thing, by the way, at some point during the battle, Captain Foundry's squad got hit by a lightning bolt, and they are on death's door as well. So as far as you, so they've also entered the airship. As far as you know, if anybody is going to reinforce this battle to come, the only person not on the airship is Captain Eridarin and his squad. However, you also know at the airship is currently engaged by a group of air elementals as well. So they are busy with the injuries that they've sustained. Right now, as you reach the top of the mountain and see what is up here, you know that you're alone with your group in Tirok. Erdoran might come in soon, but this is what you've got. You all rolled shit initiatives, by the way.
Yeah, we really did.
Just want that to be said. That is actually kind of funny to me.
Everybody has their 12 temp hit points?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
so.
let me make sure that's... Yes. Yes, you do. I'm nervous.
Let's see how quick we can burn through all of those.
1 round.
No, God, at least let it be 2.
Now, as these objectives had been destroyed, for example, as the waterfall had been collapsed, no more water elementals came out of anywhere, and no more raindrop elementals rained from the sky. They seemed to be happening kind of cyclically. With the other objectives destroyed, you look, you sort of have anticipation at the top of the round about which one of these effects is going to come loose. But as the eye turns its attention towards you, it starts off with a lightning surge, as you can expect. Tell me where you, before I actually start combat and drop this template shit, where do you want to be standing?
Clax
you
would
can,
be up.
oh, sorry,
closer.
you can, I just unpaused. Sorry, you can move yourself.
I'll probably move, here. Here.
Are these like jagged piles of rock? Do they constitute any cover?
So yeah, I didn't create any like walls on this map per se. However, this is the sort of line, horizontal lines are sort of indicating an uphill, layers of going uphill. So if you hugged one from the bottom, you would theoretically get cover. Yes. So like if you were right here, yeah, right there, you would be behind cover. I'll also say, just as you finalize your placement, T-Rock does say to spread out. He and his phalanx do break formation as this begins.
Where I'm at, would that count as kind of cover debris there?
Yeah, it would.
Okay.
Depends on the effect ultimately, but
Yeah, no, just in general, like if depending on, to your point, to the effect.
I'm going to try to get to cover where I'm at. I don't know if that's too far up, but I don't want to be out in the open.
Okay.
Mouse would be further to the left, probably.
Yeah, take care of Mouse. I also think, in a way, Mouse is in the back, because with the healing magic she has, she probably is monitoring the other battlefield as well, just in case she could do anything from afar. But ultimately, she'll be, after coming up here, she sees that this sort of needs her full attention. But as the order to spread out is given and lightning starts to surge, thing is, if you're in cover, you can arguably see less as well. So I'm going to roll for Mouse, who is sort of perceiving this happen. Although she's shorter. Mouse sees this and sort of shares it, but as this lightning is surging forward, there is a sort of jolt of lightning that attaches from this sort of rocky structure in the top right corner to the creature. This is the source of its lightning power. As the power jolts from this sort of rocky outcropping and pulses into the eye sort of reflects it back into the sky before it strikes down on the group. On a group. We'll see which group. Now, you guys are in cover, and I'm being nice. For the time being, it can only see the really tall minotaurs, and it wants to hit all of them.
Oof.
A sort of opening salvo.
Oof.
That is not good.
Nope. That was a good roll.
For the time being, Tirok is going to take that. He and his squad are relatively unhurt, although this certainly brings the allies down a little bit. They did have the temporary hit points from Flint as well, but they are not invulnerable. But this lightning strike, you see, as it's turned its attention to the battlefield, this lightning strike is now coming from the storm and raining on top of you, as opposed to sort of the beam that was being raised down the mountain before. It's Tirok's turn. You guys just all rolled so low, so it's gonna be me playing with my toys and then you playing with your toys. I think Tirok hears what Mouse is saying, but his instincts, he says, it may have its power from the lightning, but we'll see if it can withstand my glaive. And he goes into charge. And is going to make several attacks. Now, the size of this creature, Tirok is only really hitting that, like, the sort of cord that is connecting it to the mountain. He's not, like, able to reach the eye, anything like that. Okay. As he sort of gives it 3 swipes, he actually connects on all 3 of them, and does significant damage. However, despite you knowing that his glaive is certainly magical, this creature seems to be resistant to these impacts. How about... Sorry, I actually don't want to just control all these guys. I am giving... Oh, I can't... These are... Okay, damn it. Okay. We're going to have to figure it... We'll figure it out. For now, I'm going to do it. These guys have 40 feet movement as well. They've been told to spread out. So for the time being, they're going to do that. This one's not on the lava, it's just sort of next to the lava. It's going to make a few attacks as well. Here, I know they have a high plus, but they're rolling pretty good. Okay, that one does not hit. As this one gets one more swipe in, it's like they're trying to chop down a tree, but the whatever sort of nervous system that this thing has that is connecting it to this mountain, they seem to be doing damage, but it's not really making that much of a dent in it for the time being. Flint, it is your turn.
Oh boy.
This
Okay.
one could have dashed, so I'm moving it a little further.
Is this a 10-foot radius or a 10-foot diameter? You know if shatter is a 10-foot radius or 10-foot diameter?
I think it's radius.
I think it's also radius.
Think. All right.
But I'm actually sorry. Before your turn,
Okay.
it's going to use its legendary action, which I just remembered that it has. And I think it's good for you that you're seeing this in action now, but as it is surrounded by these things, it sort of erupts with a lightning energy centered on itself, as it pulses and hitting Tirok and this other elemental as well.
Okay.
Tirok definitely fails, but he's okay. And the other guy succeeds. Tirok's companion, a squad mate, is actually not looking amazing already. He's still good and still standing, but is starting to be worn down by this. But this electric energy pulses from the eye as these people get close to it. And that is its legendary action.
Right. Okay. So one of my questions was going to be that big red circle that had initially struck. Did that look like it was continuing to do damage in that circle, or was that like a single lightning crash?
There was a single lightning crash. Yeah.
Okay. I assume so since you got rid of the pattern, but wanted to make sure. I think so. That thing up in the right-hand corner is effectively some sort of lightning energy thing.
You could make an Arcana check if you'd like to.
Trying to decide if I think trying to do thunder damage to it is a terrible idea.
Sure. So this, you look at it, and first of all, you know that it must be immune to thunder and lightning damage for certain.
Right.
Second of all, you sort of, with the 23, looking at it and the sort of connection it made, you're pretty sure that, as you could probably expect as a player, that if you were to be able to destroy this thing, you would destroy this creature's lightning abilities. As well as, with the 23, destroy any air elementals that are still out there.
Okay. I think based on that, I'm going to try and move up a little bit. Let's see here. Can't move super far, but we'll go there. And then I'm going to try to... What do I think is the best option here? Yeah, I'm just going to Scorching Ray at the lightning thing.
Okay.
Which I think I'm going to have to roll.
60 feet or 90 feet?
Oh, that's a good question. I just assumed I would have the range.
That's 120 feet. You're fine. Yeah.
I'll have to roll this a couple of times, but I'm just going to hit cast 3 times. It's easier.
Hey.
Well, I thought I hit it 3 times. Maybe I didn't.
Okay. All 3 of those do hit for 15, 22 damage.
And then one of these should do an extra D8 because of my
Hey.
stuff.
Okay.
And my bonus action, try and move my turret. Can I get it up to them? I can get it to here. I don't think that's quite close enough to them.
Oh, we're probably assuming it's on your shoulder for now.
Yeah. I don't think I have any other bonus actions done, so I think that's my turn.
Okay.
Yep.
Drada, it is your turn.
Hey, so knowing what I know about the state of the airship and our companions further down the mountain, I think Drada, like Flynn, also goes and would prioritize it being this lightning situation in the upper right. So I think because bonus Hunter's Mark was cast at the big eye before battle began, so bonus action shift Hunter's Mark to whatever this thing is.
The other thing is not. Technically it's an object.
Okay.
It's not a creature per se.
What's the wording? Yeah, it is a creature. Okay. Even so, I think
I'd say you
Okay,
can do it if
yeah.
you want. I'd say you can do it if you want.
no, it's not a creature. That most where you're correct. Does that also mean sneak? It's an inanimate object, although magical, so I don't have sneak attack.
Well, yeah, we're gonna not worry about that because you had, I think you'd use these things against the waterfall without
That
issue.
is true.
So
Okay.
yeah, so
Thank you for
ignore
being
everything I said. Yep.
Cool. So yeah, we will. Yeah, we bonus action with Hunter's Mark, and then 3 crossbow shots go shot out.
Okay.
Which I'm just in range for.
21 does hit. 12 will not hit. Yeah, 22 does hit.
Cool. So that's an additional 4d6 and 1d8.
Okay, and I think an additional 1d8 for your dread ambusher thing.
Sure.
Like on that one extra attack, yeah.
Oh, sure. There you go. So
That was
next time.
okay. That was yes, 46 plus 1d8. Yes, that makes sense. And then plus your
That's a fun math. No,
sorry, can you explain them? I'm trying to make sure because
I will do the math and give it to you shortly.
okay, because I think the
4d6 if sneak attack is in play. That's 2d6,
sneak attack.
and then-
I'm dumb. Yeah, no, it's right.
Yeah.
And the 1d8 was
Okay.
already the thing.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was lost on. I forget how to play game. So it's I think
Interesting.
1631 total. No, 33 total.
That looks not wrong.
Okay, got it. Great.
And I think Drada is gonna continue chilling where he is, ducking under this wall if he can.
Okay. Clax, I see you measuring across the lava. My general, just so you're aware, your strength score is sort of like your sort of normal jump distance, I would say.
Yep, I was literally checking the rules and everything on it. So
Okay, great. Okay, Drada, you are good. Mouse is up. I think for starters, I don't know if this is what Millie would do, but I think for starters, she would see an immobile object and find this to be a very useful time to drop a moonbeam on it. So I'm going to figure out. There's so many. Does she have moonbeam? Yes, she does. Okay. She would. I think she would just do that as a level 2. And then additionally would enter her starry form and begins to shoot bolts at the... What is the range on this? 60 feet. For the time being, she would probably just continue aiming at what T-Rock is aiming at, but once she gets a little closer, she might redirect that to the lightning pillars. However, that does miss. So Mouse is concentrating on Moonbeam, and it is Klax's turn.
All right. So, DM, this is where I need your ruling here. Because I was trying to hide, if I move straight line here, does that count as moving over difficult terrain?
No, you're fine.
Okay. Then I'll go.
You have the climbing potion, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nothing's really difficult right now.
Thank you. So I'll move 15 in a straight line, or 15 feet of movement first to kind of build my speed up, immediately before the jump, and then with a strength of 18, I'm going to hopefully clear the chasm right here. Obviously, if I need to make a roll,
nope, you're good.
Let me know. Okay.
Because of your strength, you're good. Somebody else doing that might not be as good.
Gotcha. And then I'm going to dash. Let me look at my screenshot I took so I can line it up. I'm going to dash with the rest of my movement right to about, am I in the right spot or am I off by 1? Yep, right there. And that, regretfully, is my turn.
Okay. Any bonus actions?
Nothing. No, not at this time.
Okay. The end of your turn, it's going to use a second legendary action as it sees this. You see, although you haven't really determined what sort of mind this thing has, you see that it is sort of scanning the battlefield, and every time that the arrows are hitting the lightning pillars or the scorching rays, it seems to be tracking those attacks, and there's almost like a shake as the eye is playing ping pong to watch this unfold. In response to that, it is going to summon an air elemental. You all watch as through the as it sort of goes to stare, the eye shifts to stare at the lightning pillar, and almost like pulling an energy out of it, the lightning sort of coalesces into a miniature storm that takes on a gaseous form. And forms in front of the pillar. Let me find my guy. Sorry,
Do you want to put it there?
I think I said lightning elemental, but I meant air elemental.
Yeah, I don't think you want to put it there. I
think it's.
I don't think that.
I think it's totally fine.
I think there's plenty of other spots.
We are going to roll initiative for it. And Aesop, it is your turn.
Cool. I think, having that air elemental summoned at that exact spot kind of threw me for a loop. So we're gonna try and cast Fairy Fire on the big eye in the middle.
Okay.
We're gonna try. I'll put the template down. Yes. Template's gonna be right there.
Okay. Dexterity. You can imagine, not its highest stat.
Crazy.
It's like it's just standing there.
It's also tethered to a mountain.
Yeah.
Oh, it was almost 20. Whew.
How much of its square does it take up? Is it possible to hit all of these things? Because theory, they're
Ooh.
20 feet apart, which I think is how big these are.
How big what is?
So the big circle in the middle, like technically if you like hover over it and look at the square, like it's in
Yeah.
the corner.
He's saying that you could fairy fire both of them potentially.
Oh.
I'm not sure. But
I am going to be cruel and say you can't change your mind. but
First, you put that guy right my way, and then you're not going to help me out. I see how it is, DM. I see how it is.
I'm just saying it's you got. So as the fairy
Just
fire
embracing
though,
the TPK, it's fine.
as the fairy fire does fall upon it, you start to see the outline of the sort of top of the eye glisten before the eye starts to like vibrate and uses a legendary resistance to shake it off.
Yeah.
Hey,
I was about
that's a good use of legendary.
That's true. I was about to say, if it didn't get rid of it, the fairy fire, it would have been like super bright letters or like words that just like formed on the actual eye, like just calling him names. But now they're gone.
I think they did fall on it, but then they just sort of like singed or burned away.
Yeah.
A magical eraser appears and just...
Do you have any movement or bonus action that you would like to use?
I don't really. I guess I'll get closer. Is it possible to get closer into, like, if you see where my ruler is, into this rubble, or is it like...
It's not. Nothing is difficult
terrain?
Yeah, you're fine.
All right, I'm gonna scooch in. Oh yes, the trick. Yes, I forgot. Spacebar. Ah, amazing. All right, that is my turn. I'm saving Bardic Inspiration for now.
Okay. Cool. Oh god, that is a large rotating
That
thing.
is awesome.
That's terrifying.
I didn't realize that that animation scaled. Top of its turn, it is going to save against the Moonbeam. 29. I think it's fine.
Hold on. Can we just talk about the fact it's a plus 14?
Do you want to talk about the fact that you group of level 7s charged into a CR 20 encounter?
Hey, let's not split hairs here. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying it's good that you have allies. So it's going to take half of this damage, which is big 9, aka big 4. Oh wait, no, it's not. Okay, yeah. Correction to myself. You all see as this radiant energy rains upon it, it sort of like wriggles in pain without any kind of resistance applied to it. On its turn, though, as it gets its legendary actions back, having suffered some damage, but summoning defense to the lightning pillar side, you see as it turns its attention back outward, as that radiating, pulsing energy starts to form in a cone going down the map. It is going to use its psychic pulse. And those of you, I was trying to aim it where it would, I don't know if it can hit both of the recovery squad. Arguably it's centered on itself. I don't know. It's like it's very when you have such a big creature, it's very unclear where to put the template. So the question is, does it hit Tirok and Flint, or does it hit both of them? And I think it would mechanically it would make sense if it's hitting further out because it's a cone. So Tirok and Flint, I need you to make a intelligence save.
All right.
Hey,
But
that's not
luckily,
bad.
I'm good at these.
Tirok has not succeeded once.
Yeah, he is not. He's badass though, and for the time being, that doesn't have anything that it does other than damage. But I will say, as you feel this pulse screaming through you, Flint, it is the pain. It is sort of, you hear sort of psychic shouts and screaming in your head in a language that you don't understand, and it has like sort of visions that's coming with it, visions of like being pulled apart and pushed together and sort of melded like clay and ripped apart and tossed out. You sort of feel like your brain is like going through a blender as this occurs. Tirok just sort of like winces, but remains stalwart as this happens.
Do I think my cannon is immune to psychic damage?
It is. It's immune to poison and psychic.
Cool.
Tirok is seeing, like, sort of as he winces and looks behind him to see the energy pulsing towards you as well. He sort of, I imagine you're sort of like poking your head up over the ledge, just enough to like see what's going on. And he looks up and says, "Stay strong, friend. We'll get through this."
Give him a thumbs up.
He is going to use his... it shouldn't say legendary action. I changed it because I changed it for reasons. But you do get 15 temporary hit points, Flint, as well as he gets 30, and the one right next to him gets 30.
I'll take that.
That was his bonus action, not a legendary action. And as his action, he is just going to swipe at this thing a few more times, but he's going to spread out a little bit more in the process. Flint, I'm going to resolve a number of attacks as they all sort of start chopping. The one who is going around is going to try to flank the lightning pillar. But as I resolve the damage for these two Minotaurs who are just sort of at the base, chopping this thing down like they're trying to chop down a tree, go ahead and tell me what you would do on your turn.
Did we decide if I could use that ability of mine? Flash of Genius to change my cannon's type, or did we...
No, I'll give that to you at a later level.
That's fine.
Oh wait, why did I roll damage for that? That's a miss. There's a lot of misses, actually. It was a bad round for them.
I kind of want to save a level 2 spell in case I feel like I need it later, but I also feel like yeah, I think seeing Tirok able to... Oh, do I think he can do this multiple times, though? Yeah, I feel like we need a lot of damage in a hurry. I may regret this, but I think I'm going to spend my action actually changing my cannon with a spell slot over to the Force Ballista.
Okay. Something that I don't know if you've used before, so if you want to describe it.
I've used the fire one before, and I don't think this one's wildly different, but yeah, like essentially, well, but I haven't really carried it. I'll just have like a shoulder mounted thing firing bolts of energy at this point. Why not?
So it, like, I imagine like it goes from a more like dome shaped as it's projecting out the shield and then it sort of rolls into a cannon after you pump some magic into it.
And then I will, this round I only get to do that, but I will only get to attack with that. I don't, because that was my action. But my bonus action, I'll shoot it with the Eldritch Cannon.
Shoot. What are you shooting?
That depends on the range of this thing. Sorry, I am all over the place, but I think 120 feet. I'll shoot the lightning storm again.
Okay.
Effects, features, condition. Here.
That is a hit.
I think it should be 3d8 damage. No, that happens at level 9. Never mind.
Does this get the benefit of your wand?
No.
Okay, blasting wand. Okay. 5 damage is 5 damage.
It is. That's my turn.
Okay. For the start of the Air Elemental's turn, it's going to use a legendary action to once again push lightning out. Lightning out from its central form in an effort to push off T-Rock and this other Minotaur that are next to it.
Literally, as you said that, lightning struck behind me.
Good old storms. You're in for a good hour. It's moving at the same pace. They're gonna roll dex saves. T-Rock fails again. He's especially with the temporary hit points, though, he's doing okay. So he actually, having had 30 temporary hit points, only takes 1 in theory. Whereas this other guy takes 15. This air elemental, seeing this Minotaur that's been going around has not been stealthy in its approach at all, and so as this air elemental comes through, it's going to take a couple attacks. While I resolve this, somebody roll me a d20. You can decide if you want to or not.
I'll take it. I usually roll bad, so what's the harm?
Okay. This misses both of its attacks.
Yeah, actually, middle of the road.
Okay. As this air elemental is slamming into this Minotaur ineffectively, it's starting to deflect it with its glaive. You all hear a big booming sound erupt from the clouds as a cannonball with a 13 plus 6 hits the lightning structure. If you want to roll 6d10 damage as Murda joins the fight.
Sure thing.
Come on, Mom.
In the future, somebody else roll, because oh wow, that's garbage damage. 2 and a 1, 3, but 26.
It's not bad. This sort of Flint would recognize it because it is a similar material to what he pulled out of the ancient Stormcrow some time ago. But this is like an entire sort of 20-foot, more like 10 to 15 foot tall piece of fulgurite that is sticking up out of the ground. It's basically, when lightning hits sand, it creates this crystalline glass structure, but this one is jutting up out of the mountain. And as a magical cannonball slams into it, several large shards of it fall off. It is looking like it is actually close to crumbling. But it is Drada's turn.
Drada, emotional journey, existential despair, just seeing T-Rock just taking hit after hit and being like, wow, not me, but don't know how long he's going to last. The emotional high of the cavalry coming in, going to try to finish the job and shoot 3 times at that glass lightning pillar moment.
Okay. Aesop, roll me a perception check as well as you sort of monitor your mom having fired this cannon. That is 2 hits.
Great. Oh shit! I should have rolled with advantage last time. Not this time. It's fine. And then we have an ally flanking, so 46.
Well, what did the advantage be from? I'm sorry.
Oh, because if I was hiding at start of battle, but also again, it's a construct. So I don't know. Doesn't matter. Don't have it now.
Yeah. I will tell you. Did you end up rolling a hide check? Because I completely forgot about that. We can
I don't know.
retroactively go ahead and roll a stealth. We'll retroactive one of these attacks, as if it was
Cool.
a hide from before.
Does it take your bonus action to do all 3 of your attacks, though?
Yes, but
Yeah.
we're talking about from the previous round. There should have been a stealth attack.
Okay.
Or
Gotcha.
am I wrong?
No, not from the previous round. From like before the battle began, I would not have had the space to roll a high check last round because
Okay.
I bonus action. With
All right,
so,
we're just gonna let it go. Unfortunately.
yeah. It's
Okay.
just me being done.
No, it's all good. So that is a total of 30 additional damage, I believe. This thing is on its last. It's like a pane of glass that has, or more of a glass sculpture that has like a lot of cracks riveted throughout it. It is barely held together as Drada's force bolts sort of continue to shatter the inside of it. Would you like to move at all?
No.
Okay.
Good for now.
Good for now. I forgot to give mouse to anybody. She wants to maintain concentration on Moonbeam.
I know she gets a bunch of free charges of Guiding Bolt, which is
Yeah.
kind of a typical go-to.
Yeah, that was one of the... And it does have 120 feet, so... I think her... So, several things happen. One, at the end of Drada's turn, another Era Elemental appears out of this thing, out of this Fulgurite structure. And that is one of the things that motivates Mouse, that despite the fact that this is almost falling apart, she just wants to be able to destroy it. And her longest range thing that could do that is going to be her Guiding Bolt. 15, 14 is its AC. It has 4 hit points left. I'm assuming, yeah, this is not okay. She throws her Guiding Bolt across the map, and you watch as this radiant damage sort of enters the glass as the lightning from within starts to sort of ramp up in an electric way, and this structure explodes outwards, taking the air elementals with it. However, it does sort of also throw the Minotaur, who's going to make a save to see if he can avoid some of that damage. No. That's not that much. Minotaur takes 6 damage, and you watch as this structure is destroyed. Plax, as you're closing in on it, you look back and see that Mouse sort of like winks at you. But that is her turn.
All right. So changing my plans. First of all, turn back and kind of raise my axe and salute. I think, if you don't mind, give me just a second to reevaluate here. I don't really want to bunch up though either. I think we're just going to try and run up and around at this point so I can still do an action. So we're going to move our 30 feet there. And then I'm going to go ahead and I believe this might be for the first time. That little light crossbow that I was given. I'm going to go ahead and just take a pop shot at the big guy. Knowing it's probably not going to do much, but just anything I can to kind of maybe draw it away from the Minotaurs. So I'm going to go ahead and take a shot at it.
Okay.
It's saying I don't have any ammo.
Oh, that's stupid. Hold on. we don't need to play that game. Hold on.
No, I can just throw a hand axe, so, I mean.
Okay, no, do it again.
Alright, let's
I
try
just
that.
fixed it.
But no resources specified.
Okay, hold on. Last. Oh, yes. Moving resource consumption. Okay, now you should be good.
Okay. Yep, there we go. 20.
Just to be clear, this is the first time anybody's attacking this, and melee people are sort of forced to aim for the bottom. Where are you aiming?
I was aiming for the eye, knowing it's not really going to do anything, but just trying to see if I can get its attention, really.
As you sink a shot into the center of the eye, first of all, it does more damage than you would expect it to. Second of all, you see it start to stare at you and send a pulsing energy your way. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom, huh? Yep. Alright, wish me luck, guys. Save. Nope. Okay. Yep.
You do have inspiration.
No, I used mine the last session.
You did. Well, other people have inspiration that they could spend on you if they want.
Oh, nope. Never mind. Not level 9 yet. Never mind. Let's see what happens, guys. What's the worst that can happen? What is the worst that can happen?
You're ensnared in aberrant energies.
I was gonna say I turn against you again.
Ensnared and charmed.
Oh, and charmed.
Yes.
Ensnared by aberrant energies, charmed and dominated.
Man. There's not. God, your save is not very.
No, guys, don't worry about it. Save the inspiration for a better roll, because the odds, it's probably like a 30% chance me even still rolling above.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, it's less than 25. It's DC 16, so yeah.
You know what? I don't care. I'll burn mine, because I'll forget it most of the time.
I was going to say, I don't have mine to use.
Reroll then.
Probably won't work, but...
I was about to say, he's even here to roll. I think he's AFK.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he stepped away. Well, you use your inspiration. We'll resolve that as Clax deals with business in his head. But Aesop, you sort of see the eye turned towards Clax, and you're sort of behind it right now. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And the ability specifically says melee attack, but that's not what I meant. I meant...
Oh, ranged.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I could tell that Clax is charmed or not. I just saw the eye look over at him. Unless Clax has like a glow about him.
I would say this just to keep things going in this moment, it's unresolved. It's like it's staring Clax down.
Okay. Crap. Oh, I don't have a lot of. So what? I forgot this. Oh,
his power might have went out actually.
No.
Oh no.
At a bad time.
Yeah.
So what is the rules for So let's say I want to use like a level 1 spell. Can I use a bonus action spell or no? Like when could I ever use a bonus action spell?
If you use a bonus action spell, then the only other spells you can cast that round are cantrips.
Got it. Cool. That won't help me then. Okay. Crap. I don't even know if I can get to where I want to go in this round. I can't. Lovely. Okay, so instead we are going to we'll
Oh, didn't I also? Did I tell you to make a perception? Oh, you did, and I never told you.
Oh, right.
After your mom fired the cannon.
Yes, I got a 14.
Sorry. Just keep this in mind before you decide what you want to do. Before it looked to Clax to put this sort of ray on it. After it had it seemingly heard the cannon shot, and you see like an almost imperceptible squint as it seems to be like focusing some of its attention on the ship. It's turned just temporarily to look at Clax, but you think that it might attack the ship soon. You also know, I assume Drata might have shared to some degree, but many people on the ship are quite injured right now.
Yeah. DM, I don't know if you got the message in Discord that Clax did lose power.
Got it.
Transformer kind of exploded. But how badly does Tirok look? Is he doing fine?
Tirok is more than half, but has certainly sustained damage. Tirok looks worse off than the eye does.
Okay. I think, I don't know. I don't have much of anything else right now per circumstance, so I'm going to, even though it says 32, can I still get up to my dad? I have 30 feet of movement.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
The point of inspiration was spent. Clax failed the wisdom save. It's honestly perfect timing because he is currently dominated.
And I'm going to cure wounds on Tirok.
Okay.
At level 3. It's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That's actually really good.
So I'll run it to my dad as he's probably distracted, and he'll feel that my hands on the back of his shoulders as like a clap on the back. And as he looks at me, and I look at him, and I'm like, "We got this."
He looks to you gratefully, but sort of has a panicked look on his face as the enemy begins its turn, and he tells you to back up. Like as a sort of as part of his commanding presence, he's asking you to get asking you to back up. You all see as this lightning pillar seems to have been destroyed. This thing is its eye is becoming a little bit more erratic. It seems to be unsure what to do or what to hit. And as such, I'm just going to do a little bit of RNG. 5.
It clacks. That's fine.
Yeah, well, you say that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 Aesop, 2 Mouse, 3 Flint, 4 Drata, 5 Close Minotaur, 6 Far Minotaur. Try to remember that. 5. So the closest to Minotaur, the one that's like standing at the edge of the lava, the eye.
Poor thing.
The eye is sort of like jittering around, trying to figure out where its attack should go, and it looks down and shoots like a point blank beam straight into this Minotaur. 17? Nope, 16 is its AC. And it is going to take some significant damage. and is stunned. So you all see this like lance of psychic energy come straight out of the eye and sort of push its way into this Minotaur who's right up next to it. It is not looking so good at the moment.
Oh, sorry.
And it is stunned. T-Rock is up next. Oops. Yes. Sorry, 1 second. Realize I didn't set up the macro for this. I'm not just inventing rules on the spot. I promise I just didn't set it up. I'm just setting it up so that it expires, or because it's only a once a day ability. You all hear as T-Rock sort of looks down at you, Aesop, and shouts to everybody, "It's revealed its weaknesses. We've destroyed all that we can. Now's the time to take it down." And he kind of gives a battle cry as his action. Ignore the wisdom save. I don't know why that's there. So for the next round, all allies, which Klax is not currently a part of, do get advantage on their on everything. That is his action. This one is stunned. It is going to use a legendary action to make another psychic eye beam attack. We're going to see who it's targeting.
God damn it.
Was it?
Okay, yep, I was one.
Yeah, it was you and the deer.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
one.
I'm assuming a 19 still hits.
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
Okay, if you can make a wisdom save.
Yep, sure can. Oh, God. Wisdom. Save me throw. Mm-hmm.
All right.
What's the range?
I don't know what Flint was asking for a range on, but
It's only 30 feet. I can't do anything.
Okay. You take 40 psychic damage as you feel this energy, this screaming energy being pushed inside of you and just trying to rip you apart and put you back together. And you have no comprehension of what this is or could be.
I think since I'm like right next to my dad, I think I would be trying to scream for his help. Like I'm like in so much pain. I'm either like too stunned to speak or like I'm stunned that I'm just like screaming out in pain.
I will say actually, roll me another wisdom save, not for any kind of damage.
Yeah. Oh no.
A 10 is actually it's to your benefit, quote unquote benefit. You understanding primordial, you are able to sort of be able to concentrate on what you're hearing, albeit just barely. What you can sort of comprehend is that this pain is something that you're sharing with it. It is sort of like projecting the pain that it is feeling onto you. And as it is screaming about how much, how it was ripped from the world, and how you hear it sort of cursing harmony, cursing quintessence, And it is sort of a cacophony of like, it wasn't supposed to be like this. The elements are out of focus. And you're just hearing that and seeing the visions of what is becoming a little bit more clear. You almost see like a silhouetted figure, a sort of like gargantuan figure of some kind who is trying to push sort of fragments of all four elements together. And they're just sort of like rejecting each other. And there's a vision of like a piece of that effort being splintered off and broken off, and it sort of floats away into space, and it has sort of the shape of this eyeball.
Definitely information I can't relay to right now.
Yeah. hard to process when you're taking 40 psychic damage.
Yeah.
But that
Which
is...
I'll put the damage on myself when I'm done writing notes.
Okay. That's roughly right. This guy is going to come in to make a few melee attacks from the bottom of it again. These both do hit, and as you all watch this Minotaur come and make strikes at it, you see that whatever resistance it had seems to have broken after the lightning spire fell apart. These glaive strikes are just going right into the meat of it. Flint.
Do I realize at this point that Clax got mind controlled when he hit it in the eyeball?
Go ahead and give me a insight check for free. You saw Clax sort of like being barraged by an effect of some kind. Clax is standing tall and firm as he always does, sort of surveying the battlefield. That's the best you can tell.
All right. Then I think Flint tries to shoot the eyeball. And I have advantage on all my attacks this round, right?
Correct. Actually, that occurs to me. These wisdom saves should have all been with advantage from the battle cry.
Okay.
So if you want to just re-roll the consequential one, which was the
first one.
The damage, yes.
Does that mean Clax would have had advantage?
No, this happened after Clax's.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it was right as we were resolving the results of that.
No, it's all good. You are currently mind controlled.
Got it.
Unfortunately,
and I'm stunned.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that did not unstun you.
Correct.
Right. What's the way to roll with advantage? Is it control click?
Shift click.
Shift click. All right. I think Flint is going to shoot it with his Force Ballista and use Scorching Ray, all on the eyeball. I'll do the Force Ballista first because I think it's less likely for him to mind control that.
Okay. I also forgot that it's the creature's in the moonbeam, so I'm just gonna retroactively get some moonbeam damage in there. That Force Ballista certainly does hit, and as the force damage sort of pulses into its eye, it looks straight into the force cannon. It didn't even get this ability back. It looks like it's going to try to glare at your force cannon, but it can't.
Cool. Then I will definitely shoot it with Scorching Ray.
I'm just doing some moonbeam damage. Ignore me.
Does a 17 hit it?
17 does not hit.
All right.
The
I'm
other
guessing
two
the
do.
23 and the 24 do, though.
Yes.
All right. and an extra singular d8. So, what is that? 18, 22 damage?
Correct.
Plus whatever I did with the cannon. 6.
Okay, great.
And I'll move just a little ways away from Mouse.
Okay. Somebody roll me a d20.
Sure.
Actually, 2 people roll me a d20. We'll say, Drada, you're the first roll. Art, you're the second roll.
Sure. Hey, there we go. 20.
Okay.
Hopefully that's a crit with the cannon.
It's not. However, so the 7 was unfortunately the cannon, because Murda is on my hidden initiative already.
Sorry.
The second roll, the natural 20, you all hear a rumbling from the earth below you. And out of the lake, you see this like splash of ice.
Oh my god!
As good friend Frostrot joins the battle. Tirok looks concerned.
Right, we can tell him.
God, I'm stunned. I can't say anything either.
Drada, it's your turn.
Oh, so the 20 isn't Frostrot critting or anything.
No, it's Frostrot rallying to the fight. Yeah.
Incredible. So, similar question to Flint. Can I tell what happened? Can I insight to see what happened? I mean, even if the ability hasn't...
Yeah, go ahead and roll insight.
Cool.
Klax looks like, as he's surveying the battlefield, his murderous intent is targeted towards the lot of you.
Great. I think Drada just mutters like, not again.
But it didn't do this to me when I shot it.
This is true.
Well, tried to do it to your cannon, but it didn't refresh its ability yet. But
regardless, I think Drada will shout out to folks, "Hey, Klax is having a time and might try to kill us soon. Heads up." We'll regard this bonus action, shift Hunter's Mark to Legrand Eyeball. And then, did I make this connection specifically that, like, attacking the eye is what got Klax? Because, like, if Drada makes that connection, he'll just attack the, like, bottom little nubbins.
Sorry.
Did Drada make the connection that, like, Klax shooting the eyeball
you see... At this moment, Klax is holding a crossbow, and you see this like little bolt sticking out of the eye, and then you saw it stare at Klax, and Klax sort of his eyes glazed over. So yes.
Yeah, great. Not knowing what the ability refresh thing, I think he would take 2 shots at the base of the eyeball.
Okay. And these are with advantage because of the battle cry.
Oh, shift click. I forgot that was a thing.
28 certainly hits. 22 also hits.
Incredible. And then that's another 46.
Okay, that is a total of 23. Hunter's Mark has been moved over. Is that the end of your turn?
That's the end of my turn.
Okay. It's going to use its second legendary action to do another Psychic Eye Beam.
Oh boy.
I'm going to do 1d7. It's not going to show a dice. 7 is Frost Rot.
I don't remember what my number is.
I loosely went counterclockwise, so I'm trying to...
Oh, it does make a dice.
It does. Wow, that's a weird dice. It was 1, 2, 3.
I think that was a Minotaur.
4. Yes, that was the. It was the close Minotaur. It's the one that already got hit by it, if I recall, because we rolled a 6 before, didn't we? Or no, it was the far.
5.
Oh, that's right. It was the far Minotaur. So it turns around to the one that's at the top of the map, and is going to make another eye attack. That's obviously going to hit because it has plus 1,000,000. And we will see if this guy can withstand. Ew, it does. Does manage to avoid becoming stunned. It still takes 33 psychic damage though, as you see this like Minotaur woman just sort of like starts grasping her head and holding the glaive in the other hand. Mouse is up. I think I forgot to use one of her things before. Plax, you're currently mind controlled. So what do you think Mouse would do? I know you don't see her full kit because you're on your phone, but what sort of actions do you think she would take right now? Oh.
What Discord link do you need?
Sorry. So I'm trying to pull up my iPad through my Wi-Fi through my phone hotspot, my work phone hotspot. Don't tell anybody, to bring it up so I can be on Foundry so I can see what's going on. But I got to the Foundry homepage. I can't find our game. I'm logged in.
Okay.
So I do apologize. But so the question to me was,
because you're currently mind controlled, and I want you to be able to do something. What do you think Mouse would do in this situation where she sees you mind controlled, but also might just want to do some damage to this guy?
does she understand that I'm mind control?
I think so, yeah.
Knowing her, unless she has something that would remove the mind control from me, she's probably thinking, I don't know if Starry Archer or whatever it's called is up or anything like that, but I imagine she'd be taking advantage of doing some damage unless she feels she could break the spell that's on me.
Actually, she does have Dispel Magic, I just realized. Although it is not really a spell. So,
and I don't know what the range is, because I knew I was pretty far away from her.
It has 120 feet. I think it makes sense that she would actually, as everybody's starting to notice, or I guess Drada saw, I should roll for her. Unless Drada, you sort of explain. No, you did. You already did.
I shouted out.
Yeah,
and Drada's really clear, concise vocabulary.
Yeah. Drada
clear.
Drada shouted out, I think Mouse is going to attempt to Dispel Magic. Now, this is a CR20 creature not using a magical spell on you, but you are sort of under its magical influence. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to... It's 10... DC is 10 plus the spell's level. What is the level spell of Dominate creature?
Dominate monster?
Monster, yeah.
8th level.
Okay.
Dominate person is 5th.
Well, I think it's Dominate monster.
Fair.
Well, but then again, it was doing it to a person. So we're going to say it's the effect of a person. So Mouse is going to roll a... She's going to use her spellcasting ability, which is Wisdom. It is a +4, and she is going to cast Dispel Magic in an attempt to cure Clax.
Is this considered an ability check?
The Dispel Magic does say make an ability check, yes.
I'm trying to think of a creative way to add Flash of Genius to this, but
well, let's see if you need to first.
That's fair.
So we're saying DC 15 and 1d20 + 4. Yeah, you don't even need to. Mouse sort of pivots some of the star energy from her starry form, which I forgot to turn on, towards Klax, as the storm, or sort of like through the moonbeam that she's holding, some of that moonlight starts, that moon or starlight starts to pivot towards Klax and cleanses him of the domination that he's currently under. And then she'll probably just give the old archer form to shoot this thing one time. Klax, you feel like your eyes sort of adjust once again to what it was just mere moments ago. And it is your turn. I know you can't see things, but you're currently across the lava, and with your movement speed,
It's pretty close to where I could make a jump if I wanted to get right into combat with it, as long as there's enough room on
you're back in.
below it.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Oh no,
I'm still loading, trying to load the game, but at least from where I recall being, because I'd kind of planned whether I was going to jump or whether I was going to go up and around. So if I remember correctly, there was room for a jump.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I
If,
think
if there's room for me to land,
Yeah.
that's the problem, because it kind of
here's
took up the ledge.
because it kind of takes up the ledge. Here's the thing, because you would be jumping at an angle such that you're trying to jump under it. So that's the question: is if you're going to make that jump, you're jumping on top of it. Is that what Klax would do?
Klax right now, all right, so Klax coming out of the stupor is really pissed off, but very happy
Yeah.
he wasn't made a pin cushion this time. Because last time his mind controlled, he ended up with a lot of bolts in him. So this time, he's really pissed that he got mind controlled. He just wants to get to it. You know what? Hell it. If getting on top of it and hacking at it's what it is, Klax is jumping.
Okay.
That crossbow's either background slinger, or if it's too much work, he's throwing on the ground. He is bolting. He's jumping across.
Okay. I am going. So if you want to do this, I'm going to make you make an athletics check, mostly just to keep your footing.
Works.
This is like a large bulbous shaking eye. All checks are with advantage. Well, I would say
If it makes you feel any better, if it what I'm picturing is remember that bad dragon movie back years ago with was Matthew McConaughey, where he jumps off with the axe and just kind of goes at the dragon type thing.
yeah, sure.
Just sink that axe in there if it's a footing. If I'm worried about footing, bury the axe deep enough, don't have to worry about footing.
Okay. You do successfully. Well, so you've made the jump, and now I'm going to ask you to make the attacks, but I'm going to do them for you.
Appreciate it.
So this is just your battle axe, I assume.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Yes. You roll a 17 to hit.
Okay. Does a 17 hit it?
I would say because you lost connection, you as a player would know that 17 doesn't, but that 18 did.
Well, again, sorry, I probably should. That's why you were asking. So
Yeah.
now that I know, it's kind of cheating. So I don't want to.
No, but you would, if you had been in the system, you would have seen it. That 18 did hit before.
Okay. Then, if you don't mind, I'd like to use
Okay.
precision. If I remember, or what is it? It's not precision.
Yeah, precision attack.
It is precision attack. Yeah.
Okay. So that is going to hit, and we're going to add 9 damage to that. You do still have 1 attack left.
Well,
You just sort of like you have your bonus action and one of the 2 attack actions.
So, but so I guess the question is, when I jumped and came down, am I mounted on this thing with my axe holding me on? Your
feet are planted, and you sort of yank the axe out of it, and you have your footing, so you're currently standing on it.
Okay. Oh, then I'm absolutely just hacking away at it again.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, you were charmed at the point of the battle cry, so I'm not giving you advantage on these, but a 22 does hit. On your second attack for 10 additional slashing damage.
And my head
Then
class is like sideways because of the spider climb.
Say again.
Sorry.
It's not spider climb. It was like a potion of climbing, so it's like it's not quite
Fair.
spider climby. But Klax, as you're sort of like hacking at this thing, it is sort of like undulating. Do you want to stay on top of it? You would probably have just enough movement to sort of slide off.
You know what? Because both the Minotaurs are still down below hacking at it, right? From below?
One of them's stunned, but yes. I will say that where you are, you're sort of at the edge that points towards the lava. So if you were to get shaken off.
Right now.
No, but what I mean is if you were to get shaken off, it might be.
Yeah, then I'll try and find a better footing, knowing that I'm probably going to have to deal with psychic BS then. And thank you for walking me through that, guys. I'm trying to load on my.
We get it.
Good old tornadoes. No, we're good.
Woo!
So you're staying on top, just to confirm.
Gotcha. Yes.
Okay.
Well, hold on. Staying on top or get shaken off. If I drop down, can I have sure footing? I'm sorry.
You'd have to roll for it. You'd have to roll for it, but.
I'll just stay on top for right now and take. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Aesop, it is your turn. However, you are unfortunately stunned.
I did see it ends at the end of my next turn, so
you're unstunned after your turn.
Correct. But I'll look at my dad after seeing like frost drop behind me, or like the icy, like the cold breeze coming from my left and behind me. I'll look at my dad and be like, "He's an ally. He's an ally."
Your dad's attention is sort of not on you, but he sort of nods and says, "You'll have to tell me the story after."
It's my turn.
Alrighty. It is its turn once again.
God.
I should actually select it and not Klax. It starts its turn. It needs to deal with the Moonbeam and fails miserably.
Yes.
For 9 damage. Starting to look a little worn down, but how the problem is that you guys are as well. One barrage of great hits would turn the tide, but currently with the sort of damage output that this thing has, that's is where you're struggling at the moment. As it sort of turns its attention outward, it is going to sort of seeing Frostrot appear out, seems to have a look of recognition as it's sort of turning, and Klax, you're turning with it as its eyeball is just sort of rotating in place. As it starts to sort of send psychic waves down towards Frostrot. Let's see. I think truth be told, it can hit all of you, is the thing. So it's going to do that. So intelligence saving throws for the 3 of you.
Oh no.
Frostrot fails.
Oh God.
You do have inspiration.
I'm dead anyway, even if it's half.
Oh, are you?
So it's fine. Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh
I
yeah.
think your dad did good.
Yeah, Tirok saved once, finally.
I literally, finally.
All right. 19. I mean,
Oh, wow.
honestly, you could not die.
Yeah, but that's metagaming at that point.
Well,
I'm fine.
no, because sometimes people roll it at the same time. You can use it if you like.
Yeah, I mean, this would be the time to do it. All right, I'm gonna use my last point of inspiration that I got from Blossom's food. Lord Jesus, help me! That's a hard no. That's okay. I'll get rid of that post-it note then, because I've had that for a while.
That's a sad result. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
psychic wave washes over you, and you still hear that psychic screaming, but it's almost like you feel for a moment your mind snaps as it is pulled apart, and you fall unconscious.
I do. Sure do.
You all see that as well, of course. And so does Tirok. He lets out a sort of just an unintelligible roar of sorts. And what does he do? Make him make a wisdom save. See how he can maintain himself. All right, 10 is enough to know that the way out of this is to continue attacking. The battle cry is over, so these are all normal rolls now. Well, okay, hold on. I keep forgetting about the battle cry is the thing. So technically, the roll you just made was the roll from the battle cry. So you haven't even really spent your inspiration yet because the advantage was from the battle cry.
Oh,
so you
yeah,
could,
I was there.
So you could, if you'd like, still use the inspiration and re-roll with advantage, or you could keep your.
I mean, I've been holding on to it for a long time. I feel like this would be the point to use it. So I will. I guess I'll roll again.
Yeah.
I have to roll it again.
Yeah, re-roll with advantage then, because you're re-rolling the full thing.
So what was it? Wisdom?
Yeah. No, intelligence.
Oh no, intelligence. All right. Yeah, damn.
Well, it's still with advantage.
Okay. God doesn't. Nope.
Yep.
Clearly, it's a story plot that needs to happen. So we'll just close up this post-it note.
All right. Well, he is hacking away at. Oh Jesus, that was some high damage. 30,
angry.
50, 75 damage from Tirok. Jesus. This thing is not looking that good after that barrage. This Minotaur.
Hey, I'm very sorry to interrupt, but I know Eric will get a kick out of this. Eric, there are 3 or 4 trees down across my driveway.
Oh no.
Oh,
I physically.
jeez.
That's one section. Go up there. There's the other section. I can't see my house from my driveway.
Hey.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I knew at least I had to share with somebody. Is what I'm saying.
It's clearly the storm.
Sean's driveway is very long and very steep, and covered in trees. Apparently, that's
Well, we hope
Sean?
you get power back someday.
I was about to say, I'm glad
Maybe
it didn't hit
tomorrow.
the house. Glad it
Yeah.
didn't hit the house though. It's a win.
Yeah, he's
Appreciate it, guys, and sorry to interrupt. Just it's
All good.
it's laughable. Yeah, fun times.
You got a chainsaw, right?
Yes, I do.
Well, the Minotaur, one of the Minotaurs was stunned and unable to attack this round. The second one completely whiffs as it sees its one of the two-tail Minotaurs fall in battle. And at the end of the second Minotaur's turn, we're going to get a legendary action out of our good friend. Going to do our best to remember what people's numbers are. It's not going to attack Aesop, I will tell you that.
That's me.
2, 3. It was you? Okay.
Yeah.
You do have cover, I think, in this instance. So it is gonna. You're gonna
Yes.
have plus. I think it's like +3 to your AC. As it shoots you with its eye. Hey.
We good.
How does Drada just like avoid that?
I think Drada ducks down under the under the stones, the cover, and then comes back up with a completely out of world John Cena, like, you can't see me moment.
As that like psychic beam is rushing past you with your understanding of primordial, it's almost like you hear somebody throwing their voice over your shoulder as it hits a rock behind you. And it sort of just has this like cacophony of screams that is the first time you've heard it. But that is its legendary action. Frostrot is going in, has no idea about the plan of spreading out, has no awareness on how to do any of that, and is just going to attempt to slam it for 2 good hits. I think Frostrot is also big enough that it would be probably trying to punch the eye.
I was about to say, Dia, what are we? Well, not me because I'm unconscious, but what does it look like? Is it just a whole bunch of ice just like crashing down on the thing, or is there like a humanoid form?
Yeah, so it's sort of the kind of like the picture there, except it is sort of coalesced into a like bipedal ice elemental of sorts. But it sort of still has like the jagged frost teeth and like these wispy blue eyes as sort of like the air above it is not as cold as the air below, and so it's sort of like evaporating a little bit. But as it's sort of punching this creature's eyes, it gets its ability back. Unfortunately. So.
Oh, no.
We're going to see how Frostrot responds to...
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Does anybody have a point of inspiration that they would like to use? I guess Mouse has one. If somebody wants to use Mouse's...
Might be the only one left.
Yep.
All right. Mouse is going to use inspiration. Try to reroll this. You all see as like it does get, I would say this would have happened after the first punch. So I'm just going to delete that second punch. Does
Frostrot have the battle cry, or is that over at this point?
That's over. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Frostrot was arguably an ally at that time, according to T-Rock. As Frostrot lays into this creature, you see that and it would actually have disadvantage. I think it would probably end up having disadvantage on this because it's an elemental anyway, and this thing is sort of all about controlling elementals. But it sort of turns its attention down towards T-Rock as it sort of makes its second attack on him.
I told him he was an ally. That's so sad.
You know what? Just because it's funny, I want to say that because T-Rock thought that this is going to be an attack with advantage. Doesn't matter. It hit anyway. As you all see, Frostrot sort of turn its attention straight down to T-Rock, who like takes the burden of this hit, but seems distracted by like T-Rock is in a place of concern and grief at the moment. Flint, it's your turn.
Flint's running out of much of his bag of tricks. It occurs to me I have like no damaging spells that use first level spell slots except for Thunderwave. So despite wanting to, I'm gonna just shoot it with a firebolt and my cannon.
Are you aiming for the base?
Yeah, that is the big question, isn't it? He just used his eye, so it's not, he shouldn't have it yet. My wisdom save's not very good though. No, I'll shoot at the base.
Okay.
That's smarter. Doesn't hit anyways. And features.
Oh boy.
Really doesn't hit. Cool. That's my turn.
Aesop, roll me a d20. And also, I think Eric, roll me a d20.
You got it. Oh, I've been rolling high on these. All right. Oh.
Not.
Oh, very wishy-washy.
Well, roll me 6d10 as you hit with Murda's cannon. As you
Me or
yeah, you. For awareness, I think it's really Drada is the only one who would see this, but the other role is actually Drada. Roll me a perception check. No.
Oof.
You have no idea what the other natural one was.
That's so many natural ones.
Yes. But the cannonball screams
like one
in.
crit.
You guys would be surprised as I clicked on this creature's hit points. It has exactly 41 hit points.
Oh, God.
So it's your mother. Would you like to describe how this happens?
I imagine that along with my father's reaction, she probably saw me go down as well. She has an aerial view of the battlefield, and that she's at the very tip of the ship, or very front. There's a word. I'm not familiar with the word. So in her rage, as she's screaming my name, for Aesop, and then just shoots the cannon out and just slams right through the middle of the eye. It just pops right out the other end.
Yeah, there is a moment of detonation as you all see the glow completely disappear from the eye as it sort of like blasts outwards. Now, in the moment that this happens, it's starting to like, kind of like when in Lord of the Rings, when like Sauron's tower is falling. Spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen Lord of the Rings by now.
Please, we don't need to put that warning in.
It is starting to like spasm out of control and look in each and every direction before it eventually stops moving. In the moment that it stops moving, it also, whatever force was lifting it up off of the mountain stops, and it sort of falls down. For the sake of it, I'm going to roll a who wants to roll an athletics check for Sean? I'll roll it for this Minotaur as they're trying to just like avoid, the Minotaur's avoiding getting squished, whereas Klax is trying to avoid falling into lava.
What would I roll? Just a d20, you would add the number?
Yeah, I'll add the number.
Okay.
As that's happening, like, was this a long enough delay that I could have been running up towards the... No, he rolled well anyways. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, Klax is able to sort of use his reaction, we'll say, to just sort of jump off in a way that doesn't end up having him fall off this thing completely. One of these Minotaurs, however, is sort of underneath the force of over 1,000 pounds of weight.
Is there any way I could have like telekinetically shoved him out of the way or attempted?
What is the range of that?
It's not very good, which is why I was asking how fast is this happening? Was there time for me to be running?
There would have been, as it was spasming, there was a few, like 10 seconds or so.
Okay. If not, I would have shot him with my force cannon to try to bump him out of the way.
Sure, do it.
But if I can just use telekinetic shove, I can shove him 5 feet.
Either way works. It can take the hit. This Minotaur looks healthy enough to take the hit.
I'll do both. I get him 10 feet out of the way.
Okay.
I don't know how big this
thing
is.
Let's see if you can hit him.
That's fair. Always. I do this every time. I end up selecting Flint and the cannon, and then I can't get it unselected, and I hit escape too many times, and it decides that means I want to leave the page. I don't know why. All right, just click Flint. Features, Force Ballista.
That is very sufficient. You don't even have to telekinetic shove it for it to have gotten out of the way. And as this sort of lump of extraplanar mass that was once an eye sort of settles down on the ground and sort of topples over. One last thing, scatter die. 5 would be funny. 6. Okay, it does not fall into the lava. So as it's just sort of there, completely dissipating of its energy. In this time of a brief moment of peace, Mouse sort of comes over with surely she has some cure thing. She has healing word, no problem. She sort of comes close to you to sort of, even though she can do it from a range, she wants to make sure that you're okay, and your eyes flutter open as she has her hand on your chest.
Whew. God, that thing was ugly. Thank you, Mouse. Oh.
As you're laying on the ground and staring up at the sky, you see the clouds start to part, and the storm starts to break. And from there, we'll take a break, because this combat is over. Frostrot is no longer mind-controlled. And as you all collect your breath for 30 seconds, we'll come back and see what all this means.
Oof.
All right. As you all sort of have a moment of peace, Mouse placing her hand over Aesop's chest and him coming to, she looks like she's about to say something encouraging, but she is sort of not so delicately shoved away by your father, who is just like over the moon that you're okay. It's not an offense to Mouse. It's just like he was really concerned, and he's just like holding you up and hugging you, saying like, "Son, you're all right. You'll be okay."
Yeah,
What?
Dad.
No,
Well, I'm good. I'm good. Unfortunately, not the first time I've been down.
You're like
but,
smothered in his chest right now, and like whether or not anybody can hear you.
I try to like push away. I'm like, Dad, we're okay. I'm hurt. My brain's freaking fried. It's like the fried tofu that we have in that
you
we
hear
make,
a large
in the kitchen.
crash, and you turn around to see that your mom just jumped out of the ship, and now she's rushing towards you, and she starts to hug you.
Like,
she takes, she just went for it. She takes some 6 bludgeoning damage as she just sort of like lands heavy, and gets all in your face. And
you guys are gonna make me fall unconscious again.
What are the rest of you? I guess mostly Flint and Drada and Clax sort of doing in the immediate moment.
I suppose I'd be walking up to this creature and just trying to really make sure it's dead and that like its connections to this island and whatever appear to, be severed. The storm letting up seems like a good indicator, but confirming.
Yeah, you can make an appropriate check based on what you're trying to ascertain.
Yeah, I don't know if I think that's Arcana or Investigation, but something along those lines, and they're the same bonus, so Investigation.
Okay. It is destroyed in the sense that, like, you sort of look at it from the perspective of like, not wires being connected, but like a nervous system. But it's sort of that same mindset of like all these things are connected normally, although obviously this creature is a bit of a mystery. You look and there is still some latent like sort of like little arcs of lightning sputtering throughout it, but sort of like the twitching of something that is being sent these electrical pulses, and for the time being it doesn't seem to be slowing down, but it also, this is beyond repair. Like if somebody were to come up here and stitch it together, then like maybe they could make a mutant out of this, but really this is not going to mend itself.
Okay.
Drada or Clax?
Drada, I think. Something edges out of the corner of his eye, and Drada's taken no damage this encounter. And he rushes towards Clax, screaming like, "Look out, everyone! He's fucking mind controlled again!" And it's like, no, just it's fine. Sorry, okay. The bit being made, I think, then goes over to Frostbot, and I express my utmost gratitude. I think a formal way, but just thank you. We would not be here if it were not for you.
I'm just letting you know, but your microphone is a little hard to understand again.
No,
I don't know why. I did hear it all, but it's a little bit of a struggle. But Frostrot sort of, I think in doing that bit, you're also checking to make sure Frostrot is cured as well. And they sort of like the icy form a lot of it sort of diminishes into the sort of lake that's atop the mountain next to the lava. And it sort of creates a form that is more of a medium stature, sort of like creating almost the shape of Drada, but just sort of in ice. And sort of expresses, our mind is clear for what feels like the first time in centuries. I assure you, it is not me who you have to thank for that.
Do you believe that's true for the rest of the island? Like, does it seem like all of the elementals here are likely clear, or
Can we walk around relatively uninhibited? Should we still be on guard?
It looks down at the two of you and says, were it not for our prior interactions, he sort of pauses and says, I cannot speak for every elemental in their natural state of being. However, a weight has been lifted.
Hope you feel lighter then.
Clax, anything?
No, I think Clax really at this point is just kind of surveying the damage and make sure if any of the Minotaurs still need help up. I think they were taken care of, but just make sure that they're up, dust it off, kind of reflecting on the fact that, again, his mind was taken from him yet again, and that he, for the most part, did a little bit of damage on top, but that's it. Like, it just didn't feel very useful. Especially in comparison to the Minotaurs.
After a minute or so, you see the ship starts to sort of do a lap around the mountain as it's sort of trying to descend. You see over the edge, Niana is sort of directing, sort of shouting, like 20 feet down, starboard side. She's sort of like trying to help Hardak to land this on the mountain somehow. Playing safety for the driver, so to speak. And eventually, as the ship does land, T-Rock sort of like calms down for a moment, T-Rock and Murda, and they say, well, suppose we should be getting back then.
I think we have a lot to discuss, plan moving forward. It's nice to be with you guys again, though. I'll give everyone a big hug again.
They, of course, give you a hug as well. But you sort of hear... Roll me a perception check. You don't hear anything, but what you feel like wet, something wet on the top of your head, as you sort of look up and see your mother's crying.
Yeah.
And although she's not going to say it, you're pretty sure that she never wants to do this again, and kind of like is grateful that you're alive, but is sort of biting her tongue that like none of this should have happened. But it's sort of like a mother's instincts. She is also proud of you.
Oh.
Is there any like piece of this that feels like it would be easy to like take with us for studying later, or is this thing just far too big and solid to take anything quickly from it?
I would say it sort of probably depends on what you want to take. If you want to take a knife and carve out a piece of the inside, then yes. But if you're trying to take something bigger, that would probably take some, like, if you're trying to take anything intentionally out of it, it would probably take some time.
Okay. Yeah, then I probably won't bother. I think reading the room, it seems like all of the Minotaurs and everybody else are pretty eager to get out of here.
You all eventually load back onto the Storm Chaser, catching up with people very briefly, and Eridarn is picked up as well. The ship is a little bit cramped with everybody on it. It was already sort of at max capacity without T-Rock and his squad. So to bringing them to, you do see that the ship is sort of traveling at a slower pace back to the camp. Getting a quick accounting of sort of people's state, it does not seem like any permanent casualties had been suffered on the battlefield. You sort of hear that one person had fallen down and had been stabilized by Murda on the ship, and then there was many close calls. Everybody on the ship looks beat to hell. Like if a lightning bolt, if you guys hadn't taken down the lightning spikes and it had managed to shoot a lightning bolt at the ship, you can imagine that half of that ship would be dead or dying right now. Everybody is at, like, this is, you sort of look and there's like a half of the ship is sort of like in revelry and joy and like celebrating a victory, and the rest are just like clutching at their wounds and clutching at their sides and like just trying to like keep it together. But the ship starts to head back to the recovery squad camp for what will be a night of flying by the time you get back. So if there's anything you want to talk about on the ship as you're sort of heading over, then let me know.
Yeah, I'll go. Is Hardex still steering the ship?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go up to him by myself. My parents can join if they see me talking to him if they like, but
they're sort of in the celebration corner of things.
Right.
There's like on the front of the ship, there's like a little party going on. And then Hardeck is in the back, like making sure everything's steered and that all the wounded are tended to.
I'll probably walk up the stairs to him with like a little bit of a limp since I did go down. Like my brain's still flustered and fried and just trying to remember all the details of what I saw. And I'll go up to Hardeck and be like, how was it from the aerial view? How did things go?
He sort of like breathes in deeply with those huge Minotaur nostrils and says, a day when we don't lose one of our own is a good day, but
It's true.
Certainly the toughest battle in my lifetime.
Yeah, you can say that again. We appreciate you allowing us to help with this. In that fight, though, I thought it would be important for me to relay some of the information that I gathered while I was down there. As you know, I do speak Primordial, and some of its attacks were psychic-based, like it was in pain, screaming. Like a lot of these other elementals, it wasn't doing things out of its own fruition. It was being controlled by something else.
He sort of
and
he doesn't interrupt you, but he sort of whistles over to get Fentry's eye and then sort of like brings her into the conversation.
When I got slammed with one of their psychic abilities, I saw flashes of images of deep space, of some gargantuan, even bigger than this eye figure, almost putting all four elements together, trying to make something, trying to put them all together. I'm not sure, but I don't know if it was successful or not, because this eye came out and it almost like a meteor fell down and landed here. And from my opinion, it almost seemed like it was a failure, seeing how it was just screaming in pain. I think we're dealing with something a little bit more extraterrestrial than we first thought. Cursing quintessence, cursing harmony, saying that it wasn't supposed to be like this.
Hey, oh my god.
Oh, wow.
Good lordy. I've had this like channel in Discord forever called Fabled Actions, where if like anybody rolled 2 natural 20s, then it would go in the legend book, but then it ends up being an NPC.
That's fine.
I think that's I mean, it's, you see when you mention the name Quintessence, Foundry sort of perks up a bit with sort of some recognition and says, what do you know of Quintessence to some degree, I assume?
I do. And this isn't related, but I kind of have been traveling around with an elemental myself. So I've kind of been learning a little bit along the way since I left the recovery squad.
She sort of looks and says, she sort of looks to you, but then also to Hardak, in sort of showing him a little bit more deference in the moment, but says, it is said by some that Quintessence is a god of unity, but to others a gardener. What young Aesop is describing sounds similar to some of the religious texts I studied as I became familiar with magic myself, that speak of Quintessence as one who is maintaining the balance of all elements. The gods, as people perceive them, the elemental pantheon, to be the children born from this garden, to not actually be gods, but to be avatars of the elements. For it to be fracturing suggests that something is wrong. For these elements to be pushed together, for water to touch fire and for earth to touch air, and for it all to be pushed, is itself sacrilege to those who believe in the gardener.
Do you think there's another god trying to worm its way in?
It's unclear if these are even gods. To be clear, I'm not sure if I believe that myself, but what you share sounds congruent with the images that have been written about Quintessence as the gardener god, or the gardener deity. It may be that something is influencing them to try to combine things in a way that they shouldn't be combined. It could be that this was a mistake. It's very common in this sort of belief system that, well, I would say at this point, just for the sake of the rest of the party, like, you all see that there is a sort of very energetic conversation happening between Aesop and Foundry, and for Foundry to have been called over through the whistle, you kind of expect that it's like important news is being shared. So the rest of you can sort of work your way towards Hardak Infantry as well, if you'd like.
Wander over there.
Catch them up.
Yeah, Fentry continues talking, and Aesop whispers a little bit of catch up, but it tracks with some other strange happenings that people have talked about with Quintessence as well. The sort of arrival of new islands. Some ascribe that to Quintessence, that Ventus is the garden, and that new elements are being introduced to help nurture and make it grow. And we have seen islands rising from the clouds recently. And the presence of the elementals here that turned this island from a desert landscape into this sort of blustering savanna sort of implies that this land is itself being grown. But clearly something went wrong.
I'll look at Hardak after she finishes and say whether or not you believe it now. I firmly believe that you are going to need a lot more support. If the recovery squad was an organization built to deal with elemental issues, there's now an added factor into the mix, unfortunately, of it turning extraterrestrial, turning alien. Do we really have the resources to deal with another similar situation like this that might come up? I just think you really need to consider getting more support, or at least asking for more support from Consonance.
He sort of looks down at, I think, all of you who are assembled right now and says, "We're always open to more recruits."
How's the pay?
He sort of responds to say, "If that is your priority, I don't think it is the right fit."
My
If you don't mind.
Sorry, say it again.
I think we need it too.
I'm sorry, Sean, you're cutting
You're
out.
choppy.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
That sounded great.
Claxis responding in priority in the chat right now. Isn't that great?
Yep.
I think Drada would just go like, that's very kind. And kind of just leave it on that ellipses ... very intentionally.
Well, if any of you are interested, do stop by the Horns sometime later. However, you are not wrong. This is an evolution to our mission, and it does require evaluation. Well,
I don't want to overstep, but I thought that was an important thing for you to consider. I would consider joining myself, but I've joined a different team. I've made myself available to different priorities, so my path leads down a different way. And I don't think my two-tail destiny lies with the recovery squad.
Roll, people who are not Aesop, roll me a perception check. I will roll it for Clax.
And try to roll.
Oh. Oh, you're actually in here. Okay. I had technically rolled for you, but I didn't realize you were
We'll
in
take
here.
the 18. Yeah, we'll take the 18.
I would say with all of you do notice, like as Aesop mentions, like the two-tail thing that you don't really know too much about. Both Fentry and Hardak are sort of looking toward, like, look over Aesop to look towards Tirok. And Hardak says, I understand. Okay, so I guess if all of you want to roll an insight check as well.
Including me?
No, not including you.
Damn it. Thought I could try. It's a pretty good insight, Flint, for only a +1.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd say Flint gets this better than anybody. Clax might get a little bit of it, but Flint gets it. Like, you think Hardak already has a two-tail person in mind to help out. He's, whether or not Tirok is retired, Hardak is more than willing to have Tirok on the front lines as long as he can.
Fair.
Well,
don't get us wrong. Like we're happy to help out here and there and stuff. We're not gonna let the world end or something. But we're just not.
And we can handle a ration pretty reasonable per day.
Well, you've certainly earned our respect, but if our paths cross again, we will have to keep you apprised on what our needs are at the time. We have much to reflect on and much to recuperate. Hopefully, when we return, our soldiers will have time to take a break. But you all are sort of dismissed, not like shove off, go away, but it's just sort of like the conversation is sort of ends. You all sort of take a rest on the ship. With the storm gone, that's technically a long rest.
Oh, thank God.
There's no more perilous journeys of any kind. And over the course of the morning, you all do, the Storm Chaser does land at the recovery squad camp, and over the next day, there is an sort of like it's just over the next day, those who are spellcasters are summoned to divulge as much or all of your spell energy into the ship, just to sort of top it off before it makes its journey back. You do sort of hear that Captain Niana is actually going to stay now, even though this is her ship. With the island being deemed safe or safer, she is going to stay here with the apprentices and sort of like catch them up on what happened, use this as a training lesson for the next generation. and it will actually be Eridarin and anybody who wants to come with that are making a trip back to Consonance in order to collect spell fuel of some kind to bring back so that all of the ships can be quickly refueled. The talk that you hear over the next 2 days as people are putting this spell and energy in, yourselves included, I assume, is Eridarin still does send some scouts throughout the mountain or throughout the island and does sort of confirm that there are still elementals about, but that they seem to be helping to nourish the land in various ways. You see the lakes are being widened, the lakes and rivers are being widened, there's a variety of like fauna that is found on the mountain, and it seems like some of the earth elementals are almost trying to shape the landscape to create natural habitat for them. The fire elementals have disappeared entirely, but their reason for being here was always a little bit unclear when they were sort of spotted hiding under the island. But it seems that if this theory of Quintessence the Gardener exists is true, that these elementals are seeming to serve that mission in some way. This island is being grown or being tended to in some way. And while Niana will stay, Foundry will stay to sort of check in on that and sort of make sure she being the other primordial speaker is going to try to conduct interviews, for lack of a better word, to figure out what she can figure out in her time here. But you all, in your sort of time resting, don't have much sort of sway in participating in that yourselves, and eventually are ushered onto the Storm Chaser along with Murda and Tirok and Eridarin to make a return trip home, and Hardak as well. Is there anything you would like to do in that sort of couple days of sort of settling back into your groove?
You mentioned the fauna on this island. This island is predominantly still like dry, like
Sand.
desert type of landscape, or
Yeah, I mean it's sort of like floodplains. There's like, you'll see around the rivers that there's a little bit more grass sprouting and whatnot, but there's not a whole lot of wildlife sort of here at the moment.
there's not any like forests or anything around.
No. I think you have seen like a couple like sapling trees that were growing a little bit faster than you expected. But no forests have really come up yet.
I think Flint would be mostly just recovering and, maybe working on his breastplate or something, while we're in between recharging the ship, but nothing in particular.
I think, especially after hearing, learning about perhaps just how big of a situation this might be, and reflecting more on just how much time we have spent on this island, I think Drada is feeling like one part gone over his head, just like, what have we gotten ourselves into, what are we learning, what are we unpacking, and also like hearing language about mission of the recovery squad is very much reminding Drada of like, oh, like, I'm also here for a reason and I'm here for a purpose, and maybe I think he's kind of doing and maybe keeping to himself a bit, but realizing maybe it's time to be more assertive and try to get what he wants to know. Nothing actionable, but I think it's just doing his best to think some things through.
For the purposes of brevity, the ride back to Consonance is relatively uneventful. In the time that you all are riding back to the mainland, Tirok and Murda talk about how they are going to return home. They need a break, and they're going to settle in for a little while. You get the idea, of course, that they are still a resource for the recovery squad as needed, if needed, but they are excited to sort of rejoin you back at home. Is there any, do you catch them up on like everything, or
I think I would. I think my fall with them being around made me miss them more. So I think I would just go full detail, like everything that I've been doing, the good and the bad, the ugly, all the other encounters we have, elemental or not.
just like
only part
Okay.
I would leave out what is my relations with my man who's not my man, Jory. So I think that's the only thing I would leave out. I think at the very end I would be like, don't be surprised if the house looks a little used. Pretty sure we were on a rush on getting out, and we stayed there while we were in Consonance.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they have. That's, you're always welcome at home, of course. I just want to bullet point if you like. So you tell them Tournament of Tales. You tell them Heroes Academy. You tell them about Avendir. You tell them. Do you tell them about like all the Selny Vaughn stuff?
I'll just in terms of that, I'll be like, that's essentially the other like plan that we have, is that there's like these bad guys that are running a drag organization, and we do have plans on trying to like stop the multiple branches, but that's gonna just take some time.
Your mother speaks up and says, "It doesn't sound like the most safe thing, but you and your friends seem to know what you're doing."
Well, and I'll like hold her hands. A lot of the things I haven't done lately are not safe. I would arguably say fighting a corrupted earth elemental, that story, yeah, I would pretty sure that was second on the most unsafe scale, besides the thing we just did.
Do you tell her that you almost died?
Oh yeah. I'm going through everything.
Okay.
I'll pepper in like lots of like playing up Aesop and his like making him sound real good and keeping us all alive and
Yeah.
whatnot. Like,
And
I know I
just
do. Yeah.
Can I pepper in the gravity of the situation every time and give a lot of really tangible details about how dangerous things are?
I would just like this to add in onto those points. I don't think I would go into detail about the things I've specifically done, more like what we're doing as a team. But I wouldn't say like, oh yeah, like I heal, I could do this, I've been doing that. Just more like team-based conversations.
But it sounds like Flint peppers in exactly what you
yeah,
do.
they try and make Aesop sound like the hero. Like,
Yeah.
we'd be all
And I
dead.
just try to make his mom worried.
They take it all in, every angle of it that they can, and they sort of, I think there's a moment of recognition where they're like, all right, our son's all grown up. He's left the nest, he can take care of himself, or unless they plan on following you around all day, there's nothing really that they can do to stop you.
It's true. We could use their help, but they're not going to do that.
Before we leave, can you let him? It's been lovely adventure. Can you teach him how to like take a punch? That'd be like really, really great. He's so good at so many things. And I'm so
I'll look at Drana and be like, "Excuse me."
Tirok says, "All right, let me demonstrate."
Oh,
And
wow.
he grabs Drana and says, "Do you mind?"
You know, I go for it.
He pats you on the shoulder and sets you down and says, "It's fine. You don't want that in your life."
I'll look at him. I'm like, you don't want it. You don't want it, Drana. No. Mm-mm.
It is a couple days travel back to Consonance. You see the Storm Chaser lands atop the horns. They sort of have like a helipad, so to speak, on top of the tower. And these ships, they don't dock into like those anchors. They actually just sort of like a helicopter. They come over, they pull down the sails, and then they drop down. It's a bit of a bumpy landing. Generally, they don't have like landing gears or any padding, but nonetheless, a safe landing is achieved. And you are now back in your good old home.
God, we haven't seen this map in a long time.
I am now realizing that would be the first time that Flint was on that style of ship for any period of time, and would have spent like a decent chunk of time just studying how that worked in comparison to Avendir's ship with the more like elemental
Sure.
setup.
If you want to make an Arcana check for me. Okay. So previously you've rolled to sort of just you had figured out that somehow the charges were like doubly effective for some reason. You don't really get anything new on that, but what you can get with the 17 is that this is literally the amount of spell energy that you're putting in. You would account it to how long it would take to concentrate on like the levitate spell, but like with enough spell slots to carry the weight of a ship. So you have to like put a shitload of spell slots in per hour to kind of keep this up. Now, why it was doubly effective, you're still not sure. There's some other factor that that helped it along. Or sorry, I don't think it was levitate. I think it was telekinesis. There, because I did actually calculate it based on a certain weight.
Okay.
But so yeah, it's literally that your spells equal weight capacity that can be floated around
Per hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you gather that like for it to make a 2-day journey, that you were talking like hundreds of spell slots to bring it just across the winds. I'd say also with sort of like, although Flint has never really sold his services as like a spell fueler, it would probably occur to Flint that that's a lot of money. People can do a lot with spell slots.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like the most efficient or cost-effective way to fly.
Yeah. You guys are actually over here. I think that is probably a good spot to end the game, because with Sean experiencing some power outage issues and with Millie not here, this is sort of like we're about to begin the next chapter of this game, as you guys are sort of like say goodbye to Aerodarin, promises to keep you in the loop if your paths should cross again. And you begin walking, presumably back home, for a rest before you start your day, doing whatever it is that you want to do. So we'll end the game there. Again, if you happen to forget, you are getting not 1 but 2 levels because of reasons. So think about that. Think about your feat. Think about, and of course, spellcasters. I will. If you're picking new spells, let me know. Otherwise, I will put in the higher level spell slots for those who get them. Drada, let me know your plans. I assume at least 1 level of rogue, but I don't know where the other level's going.
We'll see.
Okay. And then we'll pick up next week.
How exciting! We're all gonna be here next week.
I believe so, yeah. All right.
Good until Labor Day.
Cool. Well, thanks for playing.
All right,
Such
y'all.
a good game.